Vince McMahon's attorneys have filed a new statement of material facts in support of his motion to compel arbitration. The court filing released on Wednesday argued that the facts Vince McMahon submitted are undisputed in nature and he reserves the right to introduce additional evidence. The new filing reads, defendant believes the material facts stated below are undisputed and conclusively resolve the forum dispute before the court. Should the court find it necessary to conduct a hearing on any issue, defendant respectfully reserves his right to introduce additional evidence that bears on witness credibility, sophistication, state of mind, and similar issues. According to the filing, Vince McMahon and Janel Grant entered a 3-year relationship that ended in January 2022. When the relationship ended, a confidential settlement agreement was agreed to, and Janel herself negotiated the monetary compensation that Vince offered from $1 million to $3 million before involving their attorneys in the case. On January 27, 2022, Janel Grant's attorney sent a revised version of the draft agreement, which included the following language. The parties agreed to discuss the venue for any such arbitration proceeding, if and when such a dispute arises which cannot be informally resolved, but in the event the parties cannot agree on a venue, then the exclusive venue for any arbitration proceeding shall be in Stamford, Connecticut. The prevailing party, as determined by the arbitration tribunal, shall be entitled to recover from the non-prevailing party all of its attorney's fees and costs. The agreement also included the following severability provision. In the event that any provision of this agreement is held to be void or unenforceable by any arbitration panel or court reviewing an arbitration decision, the remaining provisions shall nevertheless be binding, provided, however, if any of the confidentiality obligations of this agreement are ever contended to be unenforceable by Grant or are found to be unenforceable by any tribunal, Grant agrees that she shall return all monies paid pursuant to this agreement to McMahon. Vince agreed to pay Janel $3 million over 4 years through February 1st, 2026. Both Vince and Janel signed and dated the agreement on January 28, 2022, and 10 days later, Vince issued the first payment of $1 million. On Monday, Vince McMahon's lawyers filed a new memo opposing Janel Grant's motion to strike Vince McMahon's preliminary statement. Additionally, WWE is siding with Vince McMahon in the lawsuit against Janel Grant. The company filed a memorandum on Wednesday in support of Vince McMahon's motion to compel arbitration, disputing Janel Grant's allegations in the lawsuit. In the filing, WWE said, WWE disputes Grant's allegations, but as a threshold matter, this dispute cannot be heard in court because Grant agreed to arbitrate her claims. WWE therefore moves to compel this action to arbitration. If the case moves to arbitration, that would mean that the case would move to private mediation and out of public court. All three defendants in the lawsuit, WWE, Vince McMahon, and John Laurinaitis, support taking the suit in this direction. Furthermore, WWE said, simply put, Grant has no claims actionable in this court because the separation and non-disclosure agreement she signed with McMahon and WWE, the monetary benefits of which she concededly accepted and retained, contains an arbitration provision that ambiguously precludes this court from adjudicating her claims. WWE also said that which parts of the dispute should be handled in arbitration should ultimately be decided by an arbitrator. The court should grant WWE's motion to compel arbitration and order that the claims proceed to arbitration as the parties intended and as the agreement requires. In her initial lawsuit, Janel Grant said that the NDA was unenforceable, listing the Speak Out Act and the Victims of Trafficking and Violence Protecting Act of 2000. WWE said in their filing that neither applies to arbitration. As mentioned, Vince McMahon filed a new document presenting the statement of undisputed material facts in the lawsuit. Moving on to our next story, the Las Vegas Convention and Visitors Authority have approved $5 million in sponsorship dollars to bring in next April's WrestleMania 41 and all that surrounds it, announced by the tourism group on Tuesday. The annual event will be held for the first time at Allegiant Stadium on Saturday, April 19th and Sunday, April 20th, a typically slow time for the city, which is why bringing the event in was attractive for them. Friday's SmackDown and the following Monday's Raw will take place at an MGM Resorts venue, in addition to WWE World making their home at the Las Vegas Convention Center for 5 days. Lisa Motley, Vice President of Sports and Special Events for the group, said the city expects more than 180,000 fans to occupy 144,000 incremental room nights during the week and weekend. Of the $5 million, it's unknown how much WWE will bring home in terms of a site fee versus how much will be represented by subsidies, which are venue rentals, advertising, and signage, etc. During last week's earnings call, TKO Vice President Mark Shapiro said they set a WWE site fee record for this past February's Elimination Chamber in Perth, Australia, without revealing the actual number. He previously said last December that they had signed a deal worth $16 million for a combination of events in the country. WWE's largest site fees still come from Saudi Arabia, which pays WWE $50 million per premium live event. Other reported and published site fees include $1.8 million in cash and subsidies from Puerto Rico for last year's Backlash and SmackDown, $500,000 from St. Petersburg for this year's Royal Rumble, and almost $3 million from the Welsh government for September's 2022 Clash at the Castle. Moving on, Drew McIntyre is happy with the terms of his new WWE contract. With his contract running down, Drew finally put pen to paper on a new deal that was announced last month. Though there was no speculation about his future during the contract process, Drew was never going to leave WWE. Drew said he was just in a place where he had to get things right for his family. In a new interview with the Daily Mail, Drew McIntyre said what was important to him about his new WWE deal, to which he said it was being happy. Drew McIntyre also likes the increased creative freedom talent have been given under the Paul Triple H Levesque regime. It's allowed Drew to show what he can do, but he knows there will always be ups and downs when it comes to creative. The new contract that Drew McIntyre signed is a 3-year deal. Drew is out of action with an elbow injury at the moment, but he's remained on television and part of WWE storylines. WWE has set up both Damian Priest and CM Punk as future opponents for Drew McIntyre. Additionally, WWE's Clash at the Castle Premium Live event is being held in Drew's home country of Scotland next month on Saturday, June 15. That's a wrap for this episode of The Latest. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one.